Are we on for the August 2nd frozen embryo transfer? That's the big question we're going to answer today. Yep, I'm laying on the floor. It's been a long day. Today was the 6th day taking esterase pills. Those are the supplemental estrogen for my frozen embryo transfer. I spent the morning working out and on my hands and knees with a wire brush scrubbing our sunroom, because that's where the puppies stayed when they first came home, and it is disgusting. It's really disgusting. Anyhow, in 2 days, I go back to the clinic for my baseline check. That means they check the thickness of the uterine lining to see if it is built up enough for embryos to implant. I expect that it will be, because it has been every other time I've done this. If that is the case, then we are on for an August 2nd transfer date. I'm not too nervous about the embryo transfer itself, because that's pretty low key. And I have to lay down for an hour after the transfer, and then I am supposed to be on bed rest the rest of the day, but I have never actually done that. All right, I picked myself up off the floor. The babies are still awake, obviously. For the first frozen embryo transfer, Jeff and I were looking at land to build a house in Wisconsin. Since the clinic was halfway to the land that we were looking at, we decided we'd just keep going. We'd go look at it in January in a snowstorm. So, instead of bed rest like I was supposed to do, I went and tromped around a 20-acre former tree farm in what was almost a blizzard. The second transfer was in June, so no blizzard. But since our older kids were in daycare all day, Jeff and I weren't about to waste a trip to Chicago. We decided to try to make it a date day. So we went to a mall near the clinic, and we had planned to get salads at, I think, California Pizza Kitchen. But we didn't know where the restaurant was. And it was over 90 degrees, and it was an outdoor mall. So I walked around an outdoor mall for a good long time trying to find the restaurant. Also not bed rest. The third embryo transfer, it doesn't even matter what month it was, because the kids came with us. All 4. Jeff took them down to a Subway restaurant while I went to the clinic for the embryo transfer. And as soon as the 1 hour lay on my back part of it was over, Jeff and the kids showed up and picked me up. Then I went right back to being mom. This time, I could do bed rest if I wanted to, because Jeff is taking the kids to the YMCA for the morning and putting them in child watch. Then he has somebody coming to help with lunch when he gets home, because he has a meeting at 1:30 for work. Then the kids have nap in the afternoon, and by the time they get up from nap time, we will have 2 more babysitters here to take care of all of them through bedtime, which means I don't have to be here at all. From the time that Jeff and the kids leave for the YMCA until after bedtime, I don't have to be here. And I might not be, but I'm certainly not going to do bed rest, because I am not wasting that opportunity. After a week of taking these estrogen pills to build up my uterine lining, I have to say I don't think it was as bad this time. I remember feeling really crabby last time, and that was mostly it. This time I don't think I've been as crabby. But you might want to ask Jeff. I don't think it was as crabby. I also remember feeling more sick to my stomach. And I don't think I had that as much this time. Maybe I synced it up better with my food than I did before, or had the right kind of food with it. But I really didn't feel that bad. Just a little occasional queasiness. You might notice my hair is wet this time. I just showered because I did a workout. I barely squeaked that in after my appointment this morning. Remember I had an appointment? Yep, that was the lining check. And we're good to go for next Friday. Tomorrow I have the HCG shot. That is a subcutaneous shot in my stomach. And I start progesterone in oil, which are the intramuscular shots in my hips. And I might have forgotten something. I forgot to have the nurses draw circles on my hips so that we know for sure where to put the shots. We've done it before, but I hope we get it right. Then on Sunday, I start Medrol and doxycycline. Medrol tastes awful. It's really bad. So the best tip I have for Medrol is at least have a little jar of jelly on hand. Take a scoop of the jelly, stuff the Medrol in it so that it's completely covered, stick it in your mouth, and swallow it whole. Jelly's nice and slippery, so it'll go down easier. And as long as the Medrol is covered, you won't taste it. And you will be so much happier for it. About this transfer thing. I'm not really nervous about the transfer itself because I don't have to do much for it. I show up, it's just a doctor appointment. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's really not that bad. The part I am concerned about is over the next few weeks when I'm doing these progesterone and oil shots. Jeff's going to be gone a bunch. Let me show you. I made a handy dandy graphic here with all my great artistry. So the 28th will be the second day of my progesterone shots. Jeff will be gone the 29th, the 30th, maybe the 31st, so that's 3 days where I have to do it, which means I have to reach my own butt. If you've ever tried to do that, it's not the easiest thing, and I am flexible, and it's still hard. Then he'll be back for about a week. Then he's gone the 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe 11th in Ohio. So there's no way he's getting back here for these. He'll probably be here on the 12th, although he might have to do something for work that day too. He will be working in Milwaukee the 13th, 14th, and 15th. So some of those nights he might be back, some he might not. I'm not sure exactly what the schedule is, and he doesn't know yet either. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 9 days where I have to stick myself in my own hip. Not cool. Not cool at all. And then only a week after he gets back, morning sickness sets in. Yay! Yes, I will have morning sickness. I've had it 3 times. I am resigned to the fact that I will have it, and I'm going to feel real dumb at that point for doing all this. Do you like my artistry here? That's about as good as it gets for me. Anyhow, let's take a look at these meds that I have to start soon. The first one will be Pregnal. Let's open this up and take a look at it. Pregnal comes with a vial of saline and a vial of this white powdery stuff. You see white powdery stuff in there? Kind of rolls around. The way this works is I take my syringe, put on an 18 gauge needle. That's really thick needle. This is only used for mixing, thankfully. I may have misspoke before and said that I use this for progesterone. This is only for mixing, 18 gauge. Stick that on here. Draw up the saline, 1 milliliter of that. Stick it in with this powdery stuff. Swirl it around a little bit. This stuff dissolves really well. It's kind of cool to watch. Maybe I'll video that. And then draw it back up into the syringe. So I'll have 10,000 units of HCG in 1 milliliter of saline. Then I take off this needle, switch over to this tiny little needle. You can barely even see it there. This is a 27 gauge half-inch needle. This is for a subcutaneous shot in my stomach. And these aren't too bad. It's basically the same thing as a diabetic, as I said before. They do it daily. I have to do it one time this entire cycle. Not bad at all. It stings a little bit. That's okay. Then we get to progesterone. This is progesterone in oil. Let's open up the box. Similar type of vial. You can see it's kind of yellow. It's progesterone and sesame oil. 10 milliliters per bottle. I will be using 1.5 milliliters per night to start out. This stuff I don't have to mix at all. Take the same kind of syringe, the same 18 gauge mixing needle or drawing up needle, stick it on there, drop 1.5 milliliters. Then I take this off. That's important. I think Jeff got these confused a few times and ooh, that hurts. Take off this 18 gauge needle. Put on the 22 gauge needle. This is not for drawing up or mixing. This gets stuck into my hip. Now take a look at this sucker. That is a big needle. And it gets sunk into my hip all the way up to this gray thing. Ow. You might notice this umbrella in the background too, this white umbrella. If you've done anything with photography, you will recognize that as part of a lighting setup. That means I'm going to be working on improving the lighting for these videos, and also Jeff and I are working on some videos for another channel. If you're interested in fitness or martial arts, be sure to stay tuned. I'll let you know when we have more about that.